Welcome back to Scotty's Hobbies. I wanted to bring some more news to you guys or bring something to your attention, and I am glad to tell you guys here in California, we are going to be paying higher gas prices. Exciting, right? Let me explain why this is all going to happen. And I'm just kidding. Who's excited about all that? But before we get too far into this video, make sure to like, subscribe, share, hit that ring bell so you catch all of my videos that are coming out. I have a ton of emissions standard regulation changes, videos, the Leno's Law, Stop CARB, Clean Air Act, everything. There's a ton of videos in the video library, so go check that out now. For now, guaranteed, the Phillips 66 fuel refinery in SoCal is going to be closing. Why are they going to be closing, you might ask? Well, there's a few things. One is, well, their main reason of closing is that it is becoming too costly to keep that fuel refinery up and running, given the regulations that they have to keep up with here in California. That's their main thing. So they're getting fined left and right for polluting the air around them. It's costing too much just to keep everything up and running. And then they also claim that the fuel supply demand here in California has decreased so much that they're just not making the profits that they want to see out of this refinery. So if you're a businessman, wouldn't you want to close that one too? But being a resident of California, me, sucks because, hey, our gas prices are for sure going to be going up. Now, this refinery supplies about 8 to 10% of our fuel here in California. That's gas, diesel, jet fuel, all comes from the Phillips 66 fuel refinery in Southern California. Now, this closure will affect statewide fuel delivery or fuel prices, I should say. But say in the region of Southern California where this refinery is at, this is not just going to impact the gas prices, but it's going to affect about 900 to 1,000 people being out of a job. There's 600 employees around there that currently work at the refinery. There's 300 contractors that work as like fuel delivery, maintenance people, stuff like that, that work around or in the refinery as well. So all those people are going to lose jobs. This really isn't the greatest news for us here in California. But what else are we going to do? What do you think would actually be a fix to the solution? I personally think if you want this to change, you really need to start worrying about who we're voting for. You might like Newsom, more power to you if you do. I personally would like to see a little bit less regulations on pretty much everything. But hey, I live here in California. I deal with what I got. I don't always appreciate what my peers choose for me, but I'll deal with it. So hey, here we are. I'm just bringing the news to you guys. Now, this isn't it. This isn't the only refinery that could be closing. There could be more. Next is the Valero refineries. There's 2 in Northern California that possibly might close somewhere in the near future. There's a lot to go or a lot to comprehend when it comes into taking in consideration if the Valero refineries are going to close. Again, they also state that it's becoming too costly to keep these facilities up and running, given the regulations that they have to meet. Now they have to store X amount of fuel that California Governor Newsom, EPA, whoever it was, said that they have to store so much fuel just in case production lowers, that they could use this reserve pretty much to feed California our fuel, which now they had to build new tanks, they have to maintain more stuff. It just becomes more of a burden on the refineries to have to, or for what they need to do to be able to stay in function in California. Now, what I find kind of weird, a little side note here, is if we force these places to close down, and we're so worried about emissions, the emission standard of the air, the water quality, the ground quality, all that stuff, we're very worried about that, right? We want everywhere to be safe. Now, these refineries shut down, we're going to go buy this fuel from Iraq, Saudi Arabia, many places around the world that really don't care how they get the fuel out of the ground or the oil out of the ground. They pollute whatever they want. Nobody's really caring about what's going on. We're so worried about the emissions here, but we're not worried about the emission standards anywhere else. That part just boggles my mind. If you understand why that is, let me know. I really want to understand that. Now back to Valero here up in Northern California. Last October, they agreed to pay $82 million in fines for violating air regulations and emissions. They didn't just pay that without putting up a fight. Last year, they sued the state of California, the EPA and CARB, contesting that the Clean Cars Act 2 is pretty much not valid. What they're saying is that California should not be able to make their own waivers in the Clean Air Act, which set the standards for the refineries and vehicle emissions. So they're suing the state of California. The lower court sided on the side of California, but the Supreme Court decided to take this up and take a look at it as well. So they're supposed to be looking at it in the Court of Appeals, Supreme Court, District of Columbia, sometime very, very soon. I'm going to do some more research on that. And as soon as that case gets heard and gets a judgment on it, I will bring that news to you guys, because this one could be really big. People that want deregulation, that want less emission standards, that want the waivers in the Clean Air Act to go away, this case might be really, really big for that fight. So I will keep you guys posted on what I find. I will keep doing research on everything. I'm going to follow that Supreme Court case. And also, if you guys want to look up that Supreme Court case yourself, the docket number or the case number is 25-1078. I will do my best to put a link in the description below that you could go take a look and read that up on yourself and do your own research. Don't always take your word or take my word to get your opinion out of everything. Go do your own research. There's a lot of people out there on the interweb, on YouTube, blowing hot air at balloon knots, and people just love to take it. I just want to bring you guys real valid information and allow you guys to come up with your own opinion on what's going on. Make sure you check out the video library. Again, there's a ton of videos on the Clean Air Act, the emission standards that could be changing, stop CARB, Leno's Law, and also Transportation Freedom Act. There's a ton of videos out there, and I'm going to be coming out with a ton of more videos. So like, subscribe, and share, hit the ring bell, and I will see you guys on the next hopefully helpful video. Thanks for checking out Scotty's Hobbies.